Okay then everybody, welcome to another Leicester Lives podcast in association with our sponsor, Igloo Staffing Solutions. Thanks very much to our sponsor. Don't forget, if you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and do not forget to subscribe. Now, he's back again. We had the first podcast a couple of weeks ago. It went down very well, a lot of good feedback. Welcome back to the studio, John Regan.
How are you, Justin? All right, my duck?
I'm all good, John, I'm all good. So last time we were talking about your early formative years, growing up in Leicester, first getting into the football, those initial away matches, home matches as well. We thought this time we'd talk a little bit more about some of the work that you did, some of the travels that you had. So I'm going to start on a slightly different note though. If I were to say Leicester City shares, I think you've got a bit of a story there.
Well, yeah. A big story. You know when Leicester City, do you remember that? When they started, we're going PLC, we're going to float the company and all that. I know, as I said earlier, I come over highly intelligent, but I ain't. But you go in the pub and they go, oh, look, the club's going really big. We're going to be like Liverpool. We're going to become, PLC and all that, you know what I mean? And I knew it was a load of bollocks. I knew this was never going to find its way onto the pitch or the terraces. I knew these people who we had in that charge that time were doing it so they could sell shares and make the money. Right, I knew that, you know what I mean? I've been proved to be right. But what they've done is they were having a shareholders meeting. And we called it the newsstand at the time. It was that newsstand, the centre stand, where they replaced it with a newsstand. Cost $5 million and all that, and they were going to have a meeting in there and all that, so the shareholders could come in and say, divvy up what they're fucking having and all that. Well, I didn't understand it, but I met a bloke. Well, he's a good friend of mine, Steve Wells, and what he is, Steve was a reporter for the Express, the Express newspaper, and he come up to me and he said to me, what we're going to do here then? I said, well, what can you do? And all that. And he went, well, let's get a load of shares and sell them. So I said, how are you going to do that? He said, if we can get 5,000 shares and sell them, he said, we'll flood that ground with shareholders. And then we'll have a voice. I said, well, who's going to finance this? So I got my mate involved, right? A local businessman called Keith Allsop. He's named his company after Leicester City. He's called it the Fox and all that. So I know big. So he pulled up, he bankrolled it, and we got the money. I said, what do we do now? And Steve went, we sell the shares for £1 each on Leicester Market. Right, and I've got me share here. If anybody don't know this story, where's the camera? Yeah, I've got the share there. Look, up there, one share cost me £1. That's all it cost. So we had all the shares, right? And this, that, and the other. And there were that many shareholders come with a voice. They had to switch from the newsstand, and they had to get an aeroplane hangar in East Midlands Airport to cater for everybody, And there were that many nuisances went up there that night, I think they had to cancel it, you know what I mean? But we got it. But yeah, and got them, and thanks for Steve and Keith Allsop for that. But that was proper. But for the people that don't know, there's plenty out there got the shares. Well, there's mine, still got it. The shareholder of Leicester means absolutely not. All I'd done was lost £1. You imagine buying 10,000 shares, you'd have lost 10,000 quid because that lot helped themselves to it. Don't worry about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest time in Leicester's history, was it?
Well, it weren't. We were going bankrupt. And I'll always remember this. They were outside the ground with buckets. Can we have your loose change? And I was going, well, what's all this about? And one game I was going down, and the headlines of the Mercury the true loss of Leicester City is 80 million. 80 million. And I've gone down, and there's people outside there with a bucket asking for your loose change. So I've gone up to them and said, "You read the headlines, pal? 80 million, you need a JCB bucket." And all that, but then the others jumped on it, and the old so-and-so paid so much money, Linekers and all that. They didn't get no. Trust me, they didn't get no. They didn't care, you know what I mean? And, you know, and it was Mandaric who come in.
That's right.
It was Mandaric who come in, and he actually saved the club, you know. And I mean, I remember I working in Portsmouth at the time, and you still go around Portsmouth and you see in the shop windows Mandaric, that, you know, because he won the FA Cup and all that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And all that, and he come and joined us, and he done the job. He done the job. He did. You know what I mean? He sold it to the ties and that who become the greatest people ever and all that,
I'd just like to say a big thank you to everybody who's watching the Leicester Lives podcast, and I'd like particularly to thank our main sponsor, Igloo Staffing Solutions, and our IT sponsor, White Ski Digital. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to hit like, comment and subscribe. It really does make a difference to the future of this podcast. Now, let's crack on with the content. We'll talk a bit more about the current state of affairs down there at the end, but let's go back to what you were doing for work then, John. So a lot of people, if you mention the name John Regan, say knives, selling knives. So tell us about that.
It was I'd come in from the taxis one night. I had the house down Belford Street. I don't know, and I seen a little advert like that in the Leicester Mercury, and it said food chopper salesman required to work in stores. Well, I knew straight away where it was. It was demonstrating. So I thought, I'll have a go at that. You know what I mean? I rang the bloke up, a bloke called Ian. And I rang him up and he said, "I'm working in Debenhams, come down. If you like it, stay and say hello. If you don't like it." So I went down there, and anyway, but you had to give free gifts away. You know, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Debenhams, we've got a free gift." And they come to the free gift and you say to me, you know, "While you're here, will you look at this?" And it was food chopper. It really enjoyed it. It was food chopper. Anyway, I said, "Yeah, I'll have some of that, mate." So I got the job, but little did I know, this little advert like that was a massive company called Twin Towers Trading in America. And I took the job on, and off I went around the country selling them, and the money was great. We're only more than the drug dealers. You know what I mean? Everybody buying them and all that. You know what I mean? And I remember in Oxford Street, I learned a lesson there. In Oxford Street, I'd be there. That was the place to be, Oxford Street. And I ended up going around the world with it. I ended up in Canada with it, New York, and I ended up the top salesman in the world for them. You know what I mean? And I'd be there. But this, you know, I'd be in Oxford Street. And I remember one time, I've got my chopper, I'm just about to do my carrots. And I've got a big crowd around me. And at the back, I seen a little old lady. And she was in a wheelchair, so I thought, I'll make a bit of a cut and bring her forward, you know what I mean? You know, I'll get the sympathy, oh, he's a nice man, I'll buy a chopper off him. Anyway, I brought her forward, and she come in, she went, I said, "All right, love, how are you?" And she went, "I got one of them at home." I said, "Oh, have you?" She went, "Yeah." I said, "It was a fucking big mistake." I said, "Okay." She went, "No. It's fucking crap." I'm going, fucking hell. I'm losing my edge here, you know what I mean? And the security and all that. And the bloke in the back, he went, "What did you say?" I said, "It's that good, you can do it on a lap." And anyway, they lobbed her out. Anyway, fucking half an hour later, I'm on the microphone, just about to announce the free gifts. Who's walking through the store, Oxford Street? Leicester's finest, Mitchell Fletcher. And he's walking through the store, and he's got Harrods bags. You know them Harrods bags? He's walking through, and he had 6. And he had his girlfriend with him, and they had 6 bags going through. And I've got the microphone up. I remember thinking, gotcha. And I went, "Well, Mitchell Fletcher, please report to the manager's office." Fucking hell. Have you ever seen them? Have you ever seen them where the goat freezes and falls over? He done that. His hair stood on end. Yeah, I got him. And there were a few come down there, you know, a few of the lads. But yeah, we went out with Mitchell that night. We ate in the best restaurants. £50 tips. I never even asked. Didn't even bother. Didn't even ask and all that. You know what I mean? And yeah, that were it. And then there was another time. Do you remember when Sibbo were fighting in London at the Albert Hall? And anyway, he was fighting at the Albert Hall, and there's a lot of trouble. There was a lot of trouble down there. You know what I mean? The old Cockneys, the East Enders, like, they ambushed them. Anyway, a few months later, Sibbo were fighting in Stafford, right? He were fighting, I think it was, what was his name, Tate or something like that, but he was an East End fighter. And everybody went up for it. They all went up, you know, all the crazy, and they hadn't got tickets to go and everything. There was so many people went up. And this particular time, they broke the doors down. Do you remember it, Justin?
I do remember it, yeah.
They actually broke the doors down. They went in, CS gas everywhere. And Henry Cooper got gassed. And that Nigel Benn, they had to carry him out. They had to carry him out on stretchers, you know what I mean? And this, that, and that, we all got away. There's a few done a bit of bird for that, you know. Anyway, we all got back to Leicester, and years later, I've got the bar in Spain, and we're having Christmas dinner. Me, Anton, we're all having Christmas dinner in this bar in Spain, and his mother's there with us. Aunt's mother's there, and we were all the gangsters. I tell you who is that Freddie, Mad Frankie Fraser.
Oh yeah,
he was one at the table. And that come up, that did, about the CS gas, and it were in the Sun the next day, and it had arrows pointing at people they wanted to see, and one of the arrows was on Ant. And that come up, and his mother went, "Oh, I remember that hour, Anthony, when you were throwing stink bombs." When you were throwing, I said, "Fucking stink bomb." I said, "He's just gassed out of Henry and Nigel Benn." But then, yeah, we thingy. But then we had the bar in Spain, and Stephen Walsh opened the bar up for us in Spain. He were on holiday out there. First time I met Steve. And he opened the bar up for us, and he was great, Steve. He'd come down, and we had a great time with him. And that was the time we done Dear Deidre. Do you remember Dear Deidre in the Sun?
Yeah, the like the picture casebook thing.
Yeah, we done that. I done that, I did. And they come down, and my storyline was, it went to the pictures. I've got them here with me, the pictures, and it went, you know, I'm in bed with this bird. And it was the Sun reporter, and she says, and the storyline was, it were, do you fancy going on holiday? I went, yeah, I'll have some of that, you know, I mean, over to Spain and all that. She said, can we ask our friends such and such and all that? And I went, yeah, let's bring them over. Anyway, the storyline was, we went over, and I'm at the bar, pissed all the while, and our friend's knocking my missus off. And there's a great picture of me in the Sun. I'm drunk at the bar, and she's snogging me mate behind me. I looked her right to her. I got a City shirt on and all. I looked her right to her. Anyway, the kids were going, "Dad, ringing up, Dad, pack it up. It's too late now, kid." And in the pubs in Leicester, they're all sticking it up. But I thought that were bad. Ian Fields done one. Do you know Ian? Yeah, you know Ian. Yeah, Ian Fields done one. I said, "What were your story?" He said, "I got the pox." Yeah, we up to. Yeah, that was a good one.
What did they do then, John? Did they just like approach you and just say, "Do you fancy being on the?"
It was a kid called. He was a Wolves fan, and he was knocking off the woman from the Sun, and it was her name was Latella, something like that. She won that. She won a quiz program for journalists on the telly. She's quite famous. She does all that, and yeah, we're there. They come up. Do you know anybody? Fucking hell, get on this. Says yeah, yeah. Anyway, we went, and they said, you got all your drink for free today and all that. Yeah, you know, about 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, we're getting drunker and drunker, ain't we? You know what I mean? And we went up to the poolside, the bar at the top of this hotel and all that. And we're doing the filming. And she said, before they got in, she went, we need somebody else to do it. And that Reba there, she went, I don't think we want you. She said, you look like a football hooligan. And I went and looked at her and went, I'm fucking anyway, it frightened them a little bit. And we ended up that drunk. We ended up that drunk day, you know what I mean? And then Ian come along and it was one of them days, you know.
So how did you come to be running the bar in Spain, John?
A bloke gave me it. A bloke gave me it. I went over to Ant rang me out. He said, come now. I went, yeah, I'll come over. And I packed my bags and over I come. And I've told you a little bit about the story last time with the copper and that. Went over and I working with a bloke, and he said to me, you know, do you want to work in the bar? And I said, yeah, okay, yeah, you know what I mean, give me something to do. And I told you, I can't pay. I said, well, that's a good start. But he said, you got the flat, you got all your booze for that. I said, oh. And he gave me it. And he was a Forest fan. Timmy from Stafford, believe it or not. And he was a Forest fan. So, he was a lovely fella. And he had a bar in Stafford and all. It was the Five Ways pub in Stafford. And he'd had enough of it one day and he went, do you want the bar, John? I went, yeah, I'll have it. And he just gave me the keys. And the bar was mine then. But he weren't like doing me a massive favour, it was on a lease. So we had to pay the lease. But yeah, we had Walshy in there, we had Robbins, you remember Robbins? He's the manager of
Coventry, yeah.
He come in with all the Leicester kit on and that, you know, we had a bit of sing-song. And one day, because it's a bit of a gangster's bar, you know what I mean? I didn't really want to get into the business, but there was a bloke in there called Frank, right? They were always in there having a drink. Anyway, one day I'm talking to him, standing by the pool. He liked to sit by the pool, and fucking Ant's come along. Well, it's not me, Ant has, and I've not Frank, and Frank's gone into the pool, right? I can't fucking hell. Frank and all that, we dived in, and all you could see was his Trubin, his sunglasses floating. And then the blokes who were with him, they went, he ain't gonna like that. I said, neither am I had my phone in my pocket. And he says, you know, I said, well, you know, he'll have to get over that. Do you know what it was? Mad Frankie Fraser. Fucking gone on, you bastard. That's when we put the bar up for sale. But the actual, we had the bar and that, and there was that many stories come out of the bar. And
so how long did you have that bar for, all told, John?
well, we had it for, I had it for about 6 months, nothing serious. It done me head in the end, you know what I mean? And I gave it to a bloke from Leicester. I said, yeah, he's your 10 or whatever, you know. He was a pervert copper, he was. And got done for flashing on New Parks Boulevard. Now, I didn't know that when I get out the police car and all.
Jesus.
Fucking hell, they weren't his truncheon. But, and, you know, anyway.
So you come back to Leicester, presumably, do you, after the bar?
Yeah.
And what do you do next then?
Well, I moved into the Lost Bar with Ant. Ant had got the Lost Bar.
On Narborough Road?
Yeah. So I moved in with Ant, didn't I? And we got, and you know, I'd leave the. I was travelling around, still doing a few nights and that, and I'd leave in the morning, like to go uptown and that. And do you know the Lost Bar?
Yeah.
Well, we're at the Lost Bar every morning about 10:30, and to rackle the door, and everybody at the lights would stop and look, and he'd have me around the neck like that. Get out, you ain't coming back. And of course they looked at, oh, look at this, look at that. You know, kick him and I'll be swinging. Bit of entertainment on the Narborough Road and off. But that's when I said, right, I'm off round the world, Ant. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm going Venezuela. He said, are you? I said, yeah, fucking hell, I know. Because I've been working in Ireland, in Dublin, and this bloke, he said, Venezuela's nice. Fucking hell. So I said, I'm off round the world, and I'd got me book. And I looked and I thought, well, I'll start there and then I'll go there and I'll go up the coast through Colombia and all that, and I'll go there, you know what I mean? This was before I started checking the flags. Well, I arrived in, I went off, and they had a going away party for me at the Lost Bar, all the balloons were up, all that, you know what I mean? And I went off, didn't I? Well, my 2 boys said to me, Dad, don't go, it's dangerous. And went on the website, and the British government had put a warning out, don't go unless necessary. But it's too late, I was too far down the road. And off I went. Well, I got there. Fucking hell, dangerous. I'd never seen nothing like it. I jumped in a dodgy taxi at the airport, and off I went. And I ended up in Porto, which was 400 miles away from the airport, which I wanted to go. And it was absolutely horrendous. And I thought, and it was a beautiful town with all the bunting up and all that, you know, I thought, it's so dope. Got here about 7 o'clock at night. And then the only place I could find was a mattress on the floor covered in maggots. So the next morning I got up and I thought, I'll get a taxi, I want to get out of here. And I got this taxi. And I arrived the day, I think his name was Perez, he said, George Bush was a thingy, and he says, he called George Bush a pig, and he said, any Americans, they're up at the game, kill them. And, you know what I mean? And I were in that ground, you know what I mean? They wouldn't know, would they? You know what I mean? I weren't going around with a Union Jack. And I got up the next morning, and I got in this taxi anyway, and I got there, and I'd seen this thing. And it had a beach on it. I went to the bloke, hello, senor, you know, go do thing. And he took me there, and it was a military beach, and they're all there with the guns. And I'm there, and there was a bloke, the first one I met who could speak English. I said, all right, me dog. He went, yeah. He said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm on my holidays. He said, your fucking holidays? I said, you're right in the head. I went, well, yeah, I see it, you know, the mountains and the sun. And he went, no, you've got to go. He said to me, and I always remember it, he said, you're in danger. He said, you've got to go. I said, oh, you bastard. I said, is it that bad? And that's when I seen Porto for the first time. Porto, he said, go to this hotel. He said, go in there, do not leave the hotel. So I went to the hotel, and standing there, and the bloke with great big guns like that. I went, all right, and I went in. And I had a few drinks. I thought, I'll have a look out. And I went out, and I went round, and it was about 5 o'clock. The sun were going down. They're all playing the drums, and all the cars were rusting. It was poverty, and they're all playing. All the women are dancing, and I'm like that. And they're all trying to get you in the bar. I went, no, I ain't doing this. So I went back, had a few more drinks, and I thought, okay, I'm going to have a look at this. And as I've gone out, the blokes with the guns went, no, and they put me in the room. Says, you're not going there, we're going like that to me. Fucking hell. Anyway, I thought, oh, shit. Anyway, I lost my mobile phone then. They robbed my mobile phone over there. And I was trying to get out. Can you get me a taxi to the airport? You know, I had a bit of a panic going on. Can you get me a taxi to the airport? They got me this taxi, and this bloke turned up. I went, airporto, and all that. They went, no. And I thought, fucking hell, I'm stuck here. And then eventually I got somebody to take me to the airport. And, I'd lost my phone and that. But I could remember, for some strange reason, I could remember Keith Allsop's number, and I rang Keith up. I went, oh, Keith, where are you? Angry man. I said, where are you? I went, I'm in Venezuela. He said, I told you not to go. What's happened? I said, well, they've nicked my phone. I said, I'm using the hotel phone, you know, and all that. I said, you're the only number I know. I said, I need to go out. What do you want? How much do you have to do? Send the money over here. I said, but you tell me off when I get back, if I get back. Anyway, I went to the airport. They got me back to the airport. Very dangerous it was, very dangerous over the old roads. And as I was booking at the airport, the only flight was to Portugal. I went narrowed down. I ain't bothered going Timbuktu. I went narrowed down.
Just get out.
And I got out on that, you know what I mean? But the bloke was English behind it. He said, what are you doing here? I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm married to Benevilan bird. I went, okay, no, I'm off. Anyway, I got back in, but you know, and I rolled up at the Lost Bar 4 days later from the start of my trouble, and there was the bunting was still on the wall. They were taking it down. But you know that was Venezuela.
Why did you choose Venezuela anyway, John?
A
What?
bloke in Ireland said it's nice over there, and I stuck by it. You know what I mean? It was awful. Never go to South America. It's a horrible place. And then I went back, didn't I? I could have been right in the head, and I decided I were off round the world. I become the oldest backpacker. I'd sold my house down on Balfour Street. I'd made a few quid with the knives, and I'd got enough money now. So I'm going to live on the interest, and off I went. And I started Malta. I were in Malta, and Buckets, my mate Buckets, he was working in the factory where they make the money, the £50 notes. It's made in Malta, and all that. He said, "Come and stay with me." So I went to stay with Buckets, and that. And if anybody come to the island, dodgy, Buckets would know. The police would tell him. Right, he had security gates, the lot. And one day they've told him, and they fucking took us, put us in a safe house. I thought, I'm in Malta, lovely place, Malta, and all that. And then I was going to go, and then I went from Malta, and I went over to Asia, and I ended up in Cambodia. And I was in Cambodia, and I stopped at this hotel. I was with some Canadian friends, and I stopped at this hotel. And there was a Swedish bloke got it, a top chef. And he said to me, you know, he fell out with his Khmer partner, that's Cambodian partner. She was married to his mate. And he said, I can't buy her out. So I said, well, how much is she asking for? And he said, shillings in their language. He had so many shillings. I went, well, now how much is that? He worked it out. They were 1,800 quid. I said, I'll give you 1,800 quid, pal. And I ended up buying the hotel. Thumbprint. I had this hotel. I moved from a small room to the big room. And all the big balcony and the beach and the white beach and all that. It was great. Breakfast in bed, cup of tea, all the booze for now. It was great, you know what I mean? You're down there at the beach side, I thought, this will do. You know, the Leicester flag went straight up, you know. And I used to go down to the Monkey Republic, that was the place. Owned by a load of Cambridge lads, top lads, you know what I mean, and all that, and that's where we'd be. Anyway, after 9 months, I'd had enough. You know, I was on my way to Australia when I stopped in Cambodia, on my way to Australia, and I'd had enough. And I said, Raymond, his name, well, all right, Raymond. I said, listen, I've had enough. He said, what do you mean? I said, I've fucking done it, mate. I said, I'm bored now. I said, I'm moving on. I'm going around the world. And he went, well, I ain't got enough money to buy you out. And I went, I don't need you to buy me out. You know what I mean? I've just spent, it was 9 months. I spent 9 months living in the best room of an hotel, looking over all my booze, all my food, everything free for 9 months. It cost me 1,800 quid. I said, well, I don't need it. And he went, oh, you're joking. And off we went. Next thing I'm doing fingerprints in Cambodia, you know, with all that, you know, and I let him have it. And I crossed the border from Cambodia over to Vietnam. I went on the bus and I got over to Vietnam. I'm rushing this, by the way, there's plenty more going on. And I went over to Vietnam on the bus. And I ended up in a place called Nha Trang. It's like a city, you know, it's big. So I ended up there and it took me long to get in. So I started using a few of the bars and that, the Aussies were in there and this, that, the other. And I met this fella called John Connolly, or a Yank, American, best salesman I thought I was good. Best salesman in the world. He could go out with nothing and he'd come back with selling tickets. We had a booze cruise, we had a boat, right? And he had a small bar called the Upper Deck, and we had a boat, and we'd sell tickets in the day for this boat, and all the backpackers would go on it at night. You know what I mean? And we'd take them out in the South China Sea at night, and all you could eat and drink for about a tenner, and fucking hell, that was. All young people, like, you know, in the 20s, got the gap year and that, we'd be checking them out. We'd tell them, you can't jump off. I said, don't jump off the boat because there's no way of getting back on it. And we'd done all that. That was great. I made a few quid out of that. Then I went in partnership with John. And he was married to a Vietnamese girl. And she had a lot of pull, you know, all gangsters. Everywhere you go is full of gangsters. Doesn't matter where you go, you know, they're all gangsters. And she knew the score, like, you know what I mean? And John said, I'm buying this bar. I said, where is it? And why? It was a massive bar. I said, well, it weren't when he first got it. He said, I'm going to do it. And I said to him, you can't call it the Booze Cruise because it's in the Lonely Planet. I said, people will come and book the ticket. Which they did, and I turned that into a Leicester City bar, proper Leicester City bar. And I remember one night I'm having a drink out in Vietnam somewhere, and somebody said to his mate, "You fancy going to the Booze Cruise?" And he went, "No." He says, "It's full of Leicester fans." I don't know then I'd done it, but I've missed a lot out. But what I'd done is, I'd gone to Malta and I'm going around the world, and what I'd done is, my plan was to put Leicester City flags all over the world, which I did do. And I took the flags, not just flags, scarves, and if I ran out of, and I put them everywhere, and if I ran out of thingies, you meant to go on their internet. And there they are, you know, you get them on a frame, and up it went. And I went to, I'd done that, and then I went to, I left the train, and I was flying out to Peru. I was going to fly out to Peru, and fucking, I went over to Ho Chi Minh, and they fucking nicked me passport, didn't they? So I got stuck there for a few hours. So I had to go back to the train, which really made people laugh because I'd said again, yeah, I'm off, and fucking hell, I can't. But I eventually got my passport back, and I had to go to, well, it come from Hong Kong, and I'd already been to Hong Kong, because I had 2 weeks with my niece in Hong Kong. She was living in Hong Kong and all that, and I've been over there, and I got me, it took me ages to get the passport back. When I got it, I had to go down from the train to thingy to go, and there it is. But then you got to get it stamped, you got to put visas in and all that. And I didn't know what to do, and it was just this mega city with millions of people. And I negotiated my way all around it, and then I jumped on a bus to Cambodia. Thought I'd nip over there, and I got to the border there, and they went, "Where's your paperwork?" I said, "Well, I've got my passport. The visa's in it. You need your passport. You need your paperwork." I thought, "Fuck it, don't do it to me, please. Just travel 5 hours. I said, you can't go back." But anyway, let me go, and I went over to back to Cambodia, and c'est la vie.
What happened to the Leicester City bar in the end, John? Did you sell it on?
Which one?
The Vietnam one.
Oh, the Vietnam one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good in that one. Yeah. It was a great bar. It was a backpackers bar. Because I knocked about with the backpackers, I did, because I know that's where the few quid were. And it was massive over the front. And John sold it one day, and him and his wife moved to America. And, you know, and I went back. I did. I met Paul. In the meantime, I'd gone back to Leicester for my son's wedding. And I'd gone in the Addy's bar, and he was standing there, the lovely Pauline. Right, I went, how are you? She went, all right. I went, oh, yeah. And that was the end of that. And we're going on well. I said, look, I'm only back for my son's wedding. I'm going to Argentina after. And I said, I'm only back for the son's wedding. And she went, yeah, all right, yeah, we'll have a bit of fun while you're here. And a while then, I've been in touch with John in Vietnam, and he had some money for me. So what I'd done was, I said, I'm off, Pauline. And she said, all right. And I went, so where are you going? I said, I'm off to Vietnam. She went, well, I said, no, I'm going to Vietnam. So I went to Vietnam. And I'm getting a lot of this mixed up, you know, and he paid me off anyway. I'd come back 2 weeks. But before that, I'd got a flight to Peru, and I'd been in the half marathon in Peru. I ran the half marathon. I met these people in Peru, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Very dangerous countries, you know. You can imagine, can't you? And the bloke I was with, he went out buying drugs. I said, are you fucking daft or what? You know, and he gave him the number, and the next day we ring. I said, fucking hell, we've got to go. And we went there, and I crossed the border then into Ecuador. And the president had been kidnapped. And we're in there, the president had been kidnapped. And when we crossed the border, the police were looking for him, but they reckon the army had him. And I got me backpack, and they were looking in my backpack. I said, how big is it? You know what I mean? And all that. But yeah, that was there. And there in Ecuador, where I got drugged and robbed in Ecuador. Proper. Took everything. They left me my credit card, and they left me my passport.
Who's this? Just local thieves?
No. I've met people on the bus. We're going up to where the sofas were, cold and all. And we were going up there, and met his family on the bus. Nice people, and all. My friend has got this and that. Next thing you know, woke up in the morning. I carried on, but the kid away, he couldn't cope it. He went off to the embassy. He did. So I just carried on. I went, I ain't giving in, and all that. But I had the flags, you see. But I've been Colombia. Colombia is a story. We arrived in Colombia, and I'm out one night in Colombia in Bogota, and I'm in this bar, because I've got all these flags, you see, and I've got to put them up. I've got them up everywhere. And I'm nailing a flag up in this bar, because they ain't got blue tack over there, you know. And I'm nailing this bar up, this flag up, and this fella come up to me, and hey, senor. I said, what's that, me duck? He went, you want cocoa? And I thought he were offering me a cup of cocoa. I went, no, you're all right, pal. I said, I'm on the cerveza. He went, no, cocaine. He said, in this country it is legal. I said, why are we doing it in the toilet? Well, I'd never had it before. So what he done? He put a line down like that. Fucking massive it was. And I said, yeah, like that. And I'm going, okay. And I thought it's going to make me sneeze. And off I went. And I'd done the lot. And then he tried to explain half was his. I've just done it. And I've gone back to the bar, and I thought, oh, no wrong with that. Fucking 10 minutes later, I'm like there at the bar. And I thought, okay, now what's going on? And I remember thinking it's kicked in now. Well, I never slept for 3 days. And that's why they call it marching powder. Because you do all the walking and all that, you know what I mean?
I suppose over in South America, the purity is going to be a little more pure than you get on the streets in Leicester.
What do you get here? You get baby gum stuff, don't you? And all that, you know, Vim. I were in a pub with a bloke in the town, and he couldn't make the weight up, so he crushed a dog tablet and put it in. Fucking hell. But yeah, I had the real gear, I did.
So would you say your experiences in South America second time round were a lot better, well obviously a lot better than the first time, you know, so...
I'll tell you now, if I had my time back again, I would never, ever, ever have left Leicester. And I really, really mean that. It's travelling is overrated. When I was in Nicaragua, right, I went over to Nicaragua. Okay, now that is a poor country, that is, you know what I mean? And we flew into there. And there's a gang called Sandinistas, they're called, from Nicaragua. They're a rebel gang. But I'd find a bar and I'd settle in. And I go, the bloke, there was a little Irish bar there, and he said, "Do you want a job?" And that. So I said, "Yeah, I'll have a go at it." Helped him out a bit. But when you're in there, it's just absolutely, you really are in a different world. And I was in this Nicaragua, and the Sandinistas were there. They come in with guns and everything, they would. The rebels, and they put their guns down. I remember one of them one day, he put a gun on the table, oh, fucking hell, and it was an SMG, right? It was a submachine gun. And I used to instruct a weapons instructor, and I thought, oh, okay, submachine gun. So I got it to play about the lighter. Oh, fucking hell, that's clever, yeah, look at that bit of oil there, and all that's clever, and all that. No good. I said to him, it's no good. They're all right close quarter, but they ain't no good, you know, you got in, you know, in the house and that. And there was another crowd in there that I met who started knocking about with, and there were gangsters from Los Angeles and America. And they got all the teardrops. And what it is, it's not like this country. You break the law in America, you come out, and they put you straight on the plane and back. And a lot of them had only been in the country, I was born there, and they were took when they were a month old. So it's like going into this strange country. You know what I mean? And but they got no way of earning any money at home. Well, I've arrived, haven't I? You know what I mean? Having a drink and all that. And I got talking to them, and you could always tell them because they've got these strong American accents. Hey, how you doing and all that, because they couldn't speak Spanish. They were thinking, but they got deported. And they were telling me they got no way of earning any money. They got nowhere. They're just scroungers. You know, they've gone from teardrops and these big fucking thingies, 814 or whatever they put on. They ain't got no. I said, well, I'll tell you how to earn some money. I said, how's that? I says, we're sitting on Lake Granada in a place called Granada in Nicaragua. I said, we're on Lake Granada, big volcano there. And he said, I said, I'll tell you how you earn money. I said, I've done it in Vietnam. I said, I've done a booze cruise. I said, we'd take all the backpackers out and all that. I went, hey, what are you doing, John? How do you mean? I said, look, there's plenty of boats there. I said, get a boat. And the next day, they're banging me up. How can we got a boat? So where's this boat full of gangsters? Oh, with the teardrops and all that. I said, well, they ain't going to pay, are they? They ain't got no. And I went out with them. I've got the picture. I went out with them. Anyway, the next day, we got the backpackers on it. And I always remember it, $349 declared that day. But, you know.
So where did you, when did you decide to come back to Leicester, John? Because you've been on a fairly long journey there, you know. So was it from Nicaragua or? No,
my son's wedding. That's when I met Pauline. Took me 60 odd years to meet her. I was in the pub with her one day, you know, I was 62 at the time. And I'm sitting with all the lads, she's 50, 42, 40 she was, I was like 62. We're all sitting in the Addies and having a drink. And she come up to me, my mum and dad are in, do you want to meet them? Fucking hell, I said, 62, I'm off to meet the parents. You know, so off I went. She went, the mother went, oh, in with the bowl patch. I went, yeah. But yeah, it's been a thing, yeah.
So, what's the future got ahead for you then, John? Because obviously, you know, you've got a fairly extensive CV there, you know. You've done various types of work, everything from the British Army to travelling the world, selling the knives. You've travelled the world with bars, with travelling, booze cruises, backpackers and all the rest of it. What sort of happened after all that, and where do you see yourself going in future?
I'm just having a look at this rather than missed. I've rushed through this, but yeah. Well, I'm 72 now. Well, I'm 72 in a few weeks. And I'm in my twilight years. I still go the other way game. I've got to say it, PM tours. Great. Them Colville lads who I travel with, they're great lads. They're really great lads. Colville does, you interviewed him. Oh, should I say Stoke City does. But anyway, you've interviewed him, ain't you? And all that. But now I'm done now. It's, you know, and I've got a nice place in Mablethorpe, a holiday home in Mablethorpe. And I'll go over there, you know, and it's done, you know. I've lost, you say that, but I'm still buying a bit of clobber and selling, you know what I do, don't you? And all that. And I don't know, I think I'm about done now, you know.
And what's your thoughts on Leicester City these days then, John? Because obviously, you said last time, it's been a massive part of your life, you know, from being hooked as a youngster, all the way through the army years, through the other years in Vietnam, Leicester City bar, you know. What's your thoughts on Leicester City as they are now? And I don't just mean as a team, I mean as a club that represents the city.
Well, as I said on my first podcast, I said the greatest people I ever met were on the terraces of Leicester City. Your Phil Turners. Now, you remember when we flew the plane, the Pleat Out plane? Phil Turner started that and everybody chipped in. And I met the greatest people. You know, I met the greatest people in the world on that. And I've got to tell you this. You know when that 5,000 to 1 bet went out? Do you remember that, don't you? I only know one bloke that won on it. Well, didn't. I know a few. But one bloke won £72,000. Great friend of mine won £72,000. And we're all in the alleys looking out, yeah, Leicester, you seen the bet? Yeah, oh, what's that? You know what I mean? They're coming in, yeah, 5,000 to 1, oh, and all that. And the regale in there, right? Tina Green, and she sat there, listen, another lesson. She was Scott Beasley's missus. And it got down to 16,000 to 1. And she said, I'm going to have £1 on it. I said, are you? And she got up and she walked out that pub with £1. She put £1 on and come back with a ticket. I've had £1 on. Yeah. And as the weeks went on, she didn't just do that, you know, she was a bit cute. When it got finishing in the top 4, she had another bet. And she didn't bottle it. She went to the end. The offers to go, and she won over £2,000. And all of us like embarrassed a lot of us. You know what I mean? How can that be? 5,000 to 1, we never had a bet. I'm not a gambler anyway, but how come that was... did you have a bet?
No. And funnily enough, I was talking to someone about this earlier, you know, who would have a bet at the start of the year on Leicester winning the league. You just wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't even cross my mind. The
worst story I ever had, a bloke put £1 on. And after the first game, they had a cash out, and he took the 50 pence. He took the 50 pence.
So you look at the club now, and obviously, you know, it depends who you speak to, you know, but the club's been in strange times since they won the league, really, you know. Obviously, they've had the high point of winning the FA Cup. You've had the loads of relegation. So what's your opinion on the club as it stands now, and maybe the board at the club?
Oh yeah, you know, you can't knock the board on that. But I mean, our fanzine were a board-out fanzine. You know, we've inherited new supporters, and they're spoiled. You know, they tell themselves. I mean, Pauline, I got her season ticket when I met her. I went, here, come on, I'll buy you a season ticket. And the first game she went down, we were in, I don't know what the league's called, the one below the championship. And we beat Huddersfield 6-1. And everybody's going, yeah. It's only about 14,000 there. And everybody's going, yeah, this is great, John. He's like us everywhere, because I've been waiting 40 years for this. And then she's seen us win that. She's seen us win the championship. She witnessed the Great Escape. She's seen us win the Premiership. She's seen us win the FA Cup, and she's seen us win the Charity Shield. Plus, we won people forget us, we won a cup in Scotland and all. She's seen all that. You know, and she's not bothered anyway, she just comes along for the crack. And but you imagine growing up with that. They don't know what it's like.
No.
When we had 9,000, you know, we had 9,000 down there.
Yeah.
They were the best 9,000.
Yeah.
10,000 people.
Yes.
You know that.
7,000, I think. You know,
7,000.
around.
You know, and you go away, and you know, and all that. They were great days. You know, everybody had your back and all that. You know, they were proper and all that. You know,
Yeah.
so.
I think it's a great shame. You know, it's like the players getting booed off against Borough the other day. You know.
Don't tell me about that booing shit.
Yeah.
You know, don't tell me about that. Do you know, I've had to move seats. I'm in the family stand now. Because I can't stand the people around me. Do you know when we played Everton? They booed, what's his name off? The, playing for Everton. What's his name? The little lad, the little black lad.
Oh, the one who used to play for City, yeah.
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 Demorning Gray.
Yeah.
They booed him off the park. Are these people stupid? They booed him off the park. That man was part of the Premiership winning side, and they booed him off the... It'd be like booing Bobby Moore. And while I'm on the subject, I'll tell you about famous people I met. Bobby Moore. I was an autograph hunter when I was a young kid. I used to go around collecting the autographs. I always remember Gordon Banks. It was wet, and I'd be outside. I'd be like 13 or 14, and it was raining. There used to be a cap on Filbert Street. You won't remember it. And all the players would go in there for a cup of tea. And I remember standing outside. She'd never let you in, the woman, and Banks would come on, get your autograph and all that. Anyway, we're playing West Ham one day, and it got postponed. The Saturday got postponed. They used to come up on the train, and Leicester would go down London on the train. Anyway, I've got running down the train station, got me platform ticket, and I've gone down. And there they all are, West Ham and a gaggle like that, Jeff Hurst, all of them. And I've looked up, and there's Bobby Moore. Got a white Mac on, standing on his own with his hands on his pocket. I've gone, got him. Because what I was doing was I was collecting, well, you know, and I got him and I walked up to him and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Moore, can I have your autograph, please?" And he turned around to me and he said, "Why don't you fuck off?" That's his exact, I wouldn't think, that's what he told me. And with that, I just walked away. And when I tell the old West Ham lads that story, they go, "Yeah, he wasn't a very nice person." And he told me, I got it one day because I went through his wife and all that to get it. And I used to collect the autographs. Derek Dugan, you get to know him. And there was one Leicester player. Right? And he was a bit player, you know, but he was always on the photograph. Right? He was always on the photograph. And you got to Banks, and Banks would sign, and, you know, Ian King and all that they'd sign. But you go up to him, I think he only played 5 games for the first team, but he was always on the photo. And he'd say no. He'd say, "No, I ain't signing it." So "Why not? Go on, please." And he wouldn't sign it. So anyway, years later, and he'd ruin your picture, you know. And years later, he joined Mansfield Town. Now I'll give a clue away. And he joined Mansfield Town. And years later, I'm a bit of a big lad then. I'm walking through Leicester Market and he's pushing a trolley. I went, "Oh, this will do." And I'll tell you his name. I said, "Hello, Mr. Matthews." I says, "Anybody ask for your autograph today?" He went, No, okay, yeah. "Nobody wants your autograph?" No. And off he went. Yeah. And every time I seen him, "Hello, Mr. Matthews, anybody after your autograph?" He went, No, what's that? I said, "Okay." And in 1981, I'm running a football team called Groovy 81, won everything. And I'm the manager. And we're playing Al Shilton. And we got a kid, Ian Hartop, great player, 60 goals a season, man. And he's come up to me, it's a Sunday, and he says, "Their manager wants me to sign for Al Shilton, John." I said, "Is he?" I said, who is it? He said, he's over there. And he come walk to it. Who were it? Mr. Matthew. And as he come to me, he turned round like that and walked back. And I went into the Hong Kong on Charles Street one, years later. And he seen me coming in, and before I could say it, he went, nobody's asked for me autograph, you know. You know, I did, yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, we've really enjoyed the first podcast. I've really enjoyed the second one as well. You know, you got some fantastic stories.
They're all true, you know.
Yeah. And like I said last time, you know, I was always going to ask you to come onto the podcast anyway, but so many people were contacting me and they said, look, you've got to get John down. And that's when I gave you a bell. And, you know, in fairness, you said, let's go for it. So they've been 2 fantastic podcasts. So I'm going to wrap it up there and say thanks ever so much, John.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for giving me the chance to do this. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I've had a great time and I've had a bit of an adventurous life, as you know. And I've ended up with 2 great kids and family and everything. And I've met Pauline and everything. And I've really enjoyed the chance. And I wouldn't change anything for the world. And I was privileged to be born in Leicester. And thank you very much for it.
Not a problem, John. It's nice to be with a true Leicester legend. So thanks ever so much, and we'll see each other soon. Cheers.
Cheers.